Hello, my name is Mud Sattergren, and I'm going to do my report on critical thinking, which I believe is a very necessary tool for anybody to use if they want to survive this life successfully. Pardon my sarcasm. Critical thinking is not tangible, but however, it does constitute a technical topic because it requires some instruction, direction, and explanation. It is a tool that needs to be used in daily activities and basic decision making. Therefore, it is technical in nature. So, for example, if you're at the supermarket and you need to decide the best produce for your diet or the best kitty litter or cat food for your cat, it all requires some critical thinking. If you are at a restaurant and you're looking at the menu and you're deciding if you want to have the cheeseburger and fries or if you want to have rice and beans and a salad to see which one's the healthiest, you're using critical thinking. However, when politics, religion, and controversial issues become involved, such as abortion, gay marriage, capital punishment, and decide what is best for your state and country, that is critical thinking. So, a student who aces all exams in the course of semester demonstrates knowledge. But if a student gathers research reports from the ACC database and develops a conclusion from all reports, that is critical thinking. If I can quote my savior and role model, Albert Einstein, on what he thinks about critical thinking used in schools, this is what he says. The development of general ability for independent thinking and judgment should always be placed foremost, not the acquisition of special knowledge. If a person masters the fundamentals of his subject and has learned to think and work independently, he will surely find a way, and besides will better able to adapt himself to progress and changes than the person whose training principally consists in the acquiring of detailed knowledge. So, for example, in this technical writing class, I have learned how to write a cover letter. That is acquired knowledge. But however, if I were to apply for a job and I need to write a cover letter and I use what I learned in this class, that's critical thinking because I'm applying it. So the tools of critical thinking, these are my tools that I came up with. This is my theory. You're more happy to disagree with me about these tools, but if you were to do a Google search on critical thinking, other people will come up with a theory of how to use critical thinking. This is my theory. So the tools for critical thinking are questioning, analyzing, evaluating observations, reasoning, and application. So critical thinking may seem as a technical topic rather than an innate human function such as breathing and speaking. Why? Because critical thinking is often absent in our daily activities and breathing is not. How can critical thinking be used to help an individual society, and why is it practical as a technical tool? Media, institutionalized religion, state board authorization to publish certain textbooks, political figures, social construct of gender and sexuality, and the individual status such as Dr. Sattergren or Your Highness all influence daily decision making. People like Charles Darwin, Joan of Arc, George Orwell, Nelson Mandela, Oscar Wilde, they all pay a hefty price for critical thinking, but when they use that tool, it actually helps society in the long run. So the research pattern or methodology for this report uses a survey to portray the basis of critical thinking alongside an account for somebody who used critical thinking and improved society as a whole. So an approachable method for assessing a population who may or may not use critical thinking can be assessed by a survey conducted in several high schools and institutions of higher learning across the United States. The basis of the survey was to determine if dihydrogen monoxide should still be permitted in schools. Dihydrogen monoxide organization have research volunteers in several states to administer the ban or not to ban survey. A group of appropriate volunteers would perform a short presentation in front of a particular class, specifically classes who instruct some sort of science. Without telling the teachers and students what dihydrogen monoxide is, researchers first inform the class of extensive dangers of dihydrogen monoxide, such as death due to accidental inhalation, even in small quantities, which is drowning, or is a major component of acid rain. Rain in general composes of dihydrogen monoxide. After the presentation, the researchers would ask the students and teachers if they would want to ban dihydrogen monoxide. Well, according to this little organization, most students would ban the substance. Surprisingly, those students were chemistry students. How can this be? They were provided with accurate and factual information about the dangers of dihydrogen monoxide, such as contamination of electrical systems, often called short circuits. So if I were to drop my iPhone in the toilet, it would not work. Or thermal variations of dihydrogen monoxide are a suspected contributor to the El Nino weather effect. Well, if there's a high humidity outside, there's most likely there's going to be a storm. Or found in biopsies of precancerous tumors and lesions. If you use critical thinking, you would realize that the human body is composed mostly of water, so therefore there's going to be some sort of water substance in tumors. Those who oppose the ban of dihydrogen monoxide actually use critical thinking, such as the tools of questioning. Students who use critical thinking can deepen their education through asking questions. So Albert Einstein, who did not do very well on his tests in his early years, asked a lot of questions, and that is how he became so famous for his intelligence. The tool of analyzing, students who signed the petition failed to examine the detail of the structure of the presentation. After being presented with facts that small inhalation of the substance causes death and is found in precancerous tumors, an analysis may have the chemistry student to determine about the compound itself. A tool of evaluating observations will allow the student to wonder why the researchers will come to their class by observing that they are in high school and people are asking their advice to ban a certain substance. The tool of reasoning. Is there a reason to believe what the researchers are telling you? The tool of application synthesizing. This tool allows the students to extract what they have already learned in the past and to apply it to the present. Every student in the survey taken is in a science class, and the most basic understanding of science is water and how it supports life. So if you're using critical thinking, you would know that water can be very beneficial, but if taken to the extreme, it can be dangerous. So students, such as myself, are vulnerable to a variety of information presented to them, regardless of its source. It is a valuable skill to hone for anybody with responsibility. to assess and analyze information can help someone not to be taken advantage of. So if you were to turn on the television, you would see celebrities giving advice on how to diet. Or if you went to church, there are a lot of claims about evolution or gay marriage being a sin. But if you use some critical thinking, sorry if this offends anybody, but it is false about what their claims are, and critical thinking says that evolution is fact. News media and social websites will say who the best president will be. So if you went to Facebook, you're going to see an infographic or a meme about George Bush or Barack Obama and say something about them that may or may not be true. Can critical thinking save a life? Yes, it can. Critical thinking discourages the individual from participating in certain activities. It helps students analyze claims and helps people use caution when taking certain advice. The vulnerable child and student must be given the tools of reasoning, analyzing, evaluating, and application to live a successful life and career. A classic example is someone like myself who is not religious, is not heterosexual, does not have parental support through my college years, and the only way I can defend myself against this world is critical thinking. If I want to live a successful life and be safe, I have to use critical thinking in order to maintain my grades, keep myself out of jail, and maintain a job. So, critical thinking is going to help you. Thank you. Okay.